What's up, team? Check out this chart on the screen. There's a lot of information. That's a G major scale, low E to high E. I'm going to always keep the G's in red because that's the parent, that's the master scale, that's the one chord. So this is Music Theory Monday. Hopefully this little Mustang won't be too spicy. Strings need to be changed. It's my son's guitar, and he's always like, if you use my guitar, I get 50% of whatever the video makes. And wouldn't you know, the last one I used this hit off like 80K, that little turkey. Now, we're going to chunk this, the split method. Grab the ebook. Let's just go right to the next part of this, which is we're going to do is we're going to split this master scale into two parts, basically chunking it or splitting it. And we're going to do that all the way up through the sixth mode. You're going to get this. Don't worry if you don't, but let's go to the next chart. Boop. Okay. And the chapters are in here for each scale position. So what this is that this is the EAD strings only of that master G major scale. So you want to do that, you want to be as musical as you can. Now, the reason we do this is because, in my opinion, it makes you the most efficient with your playing, your scales. Less is more, right? So you can really hone in. Learn learn how to make as much cool music out of here as you can, okay? Now, one thing you can do is let's play bar chords on the way up for some harmonic content, so context, right? So G. So you create as many musical possibilities as you can, but just really use your ears, and I want you to hear the modes, or they should just be called moods. They're just different flavors. All we're going to do is play a G major scale rearranged over in different ways with different starting points. That's all modes are. So I'm going to keep this consistent. All right, let's go to the next part of this. Okay, so you see here, this is the G, B, high E strings, and that's how we're going to chunk it consistently all the way up the neck. You're going to get the master scale, low E to high E, then you're going to get the EAD strings, and then the G, B, high E. Got it? Okay, if you don't, drop a comment. So look. So there's just the second half of that G major scale we ran all the way, right? So I want you to kind of make these connections and see what happens, all right? So play the G. You don't even have to do anything fancy. If you're a total beginner, maybe you just focus on this, just the G, B, high E strings, right? Oops, shank. Guess that's music making, right? Okay, so my whole point of this is it's not just for you. Yeah, we're splitting stuff, we're chunking it, great. We're making it easier to digest and kind of commit to memory, burn it in our brains. But also, we kind of want to hear, okay, if I start on A, that's the second mode. That's the 2 chord of G, which we're going to get to in just a minute. So you're actually playing, you have all these other scales inside of scales. Those are the moments you need to have those light bulb moments and make those connections. So. Okay, let's go to the next master chart. I think you guys are going to get this. So now, top left, A Dorian, Roman numeral 2 in lowercase, because why? It's the minor 2. The minors are lowercase. So A, Roman numeral 2, lowercase, Dorian. A minor, just play a bar chord. Okay? Now I'm going to give you the master, low E to high E first, and then we're going to chunk it. Okay, so. And of course you want to know that, and then you want to know how to make music out of it. Okay, but let's split it. Boop. Here's the first part. Again, staying consistent. I kept the colors consistent. Always going to put that parent scale, the 1 in red, just so you know. There's their G, okay? But minor mode. Listen. You really hear the flavor of it. Listen. You need to hear how those intervals, the distance between two notes, have that minor vibe. Okay, and if you want, go back to the 1. You always want to go back home to the 1, or depending on how you're emphasizing the flavors in the scales. Again, this is just a rearranged G major scale. That's the number one thing I think you need to realize about modes. It's just a major scale rearranged in a different starting point. That's it. So we're starting from that. You see how there's only 1 sharp in there in the top left of that chart? F sharp, key of G major, 1 sharp. Okay, let's go to the next part of this, chunk 2. So now here's the second half of this. Just do something simple like that. Just play the B and the C. Go back to the A minor bar chord. I'm just giving you frameworks, okay? Octaves. Skip strings. What did I do there? Play the A minor bar, skip all the way down to the high E and walk it down. That's all music is. It's just different rhythms, but rhythm is king always, so keep that rhythm. Sometimes the simplest little riffs like that are just the coolest, most ear candy-ish parts. All right, let's go to the next mode. So I want to try and get you through this quick, and these are all bookmarked, ebooks below. Grab it. You guys are gonna rock this. Okay, B Phrygian, another minor mode, Roman numeral 3, lowercase. Just run it again. Just a rearranged G major scale. Look. There's your whole thing. Okay. I think you guys get the idea. I'm keeping the colors consistent. Okay, and a lot of you guys have said in comments in the past too. I'll just throw this out there. Why can't I just stay in one position and start from different points and run that mode? You can. So like if I went here where that G is, this is why I put them in red. If I just went, you can hear how that's very major because I'm starting from the G. But watch if I start from the A, I mean the B, minor 3. So you see that? Now chunk 1, same thing. You guys kind of see what we're doing here? This is how we're splitting scales. You can do this really with anything. You can use the split method on anything you want. You're going to build your own framework. But the idea is to get rid of a lot of that information so you can really focus in. So you can see we're looking at this. We're just using our E, A, and D strings, so maybe we create like a sick little bass line. What if I got rid of the pick and I went, So you see, just do stuff with like that. Get rid of the pick. I kind of shank that up a little bit. It's okay, because that's how you grow and get better as a musician. All right, so here's the second part of this. Same thing. See, look. We're just running the G, B, high, E part of the B Phrygian scale, but we're starting on G. Okay, when you get really good, look at the whole scale, low E to high E, and see what you can do. But again, split it, chunk it out. It's like when you were a little kid. You know, when we were learning to read, that's how they would chunk words, you know, phonemic awareness, all that stuff. Just chunk, we're just doing the same thing. We're applying it to scales because music is a language too. All right, so C Lydian. Here's the next master chart. All right, so run the whole thing. It's like I said, I'll just reiterate. I always like finishing on the same notes I have. So the reason I finish on D and not C, because I know we're in C Lydian, is because I have a C and D on the low E. Get it? I could just do that and finish, but I think part of the reason too is that's how my teacher showed me, so it's just kind of ingrained. You know how that works. So let's chunk that. Look. Now because this is major, why? Because Roman numeral 4, uppercase, major, and the 4 is always major in the major scale, okay? So you're playing C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So play a C bar chord. All right, let's go to the next part. Chunk it again. So look, add a C Lydian, right? You see that? So go. So you see how like majory that sounds, but it has that like mysterious quality. So that's what I really want you guys to do, is to kind of hear the qualities that these notes impart, and just the different. You're just linking together riffs or melodies, and then you're putting intervals and you're stacking intervals to create harmonies. All right. So again, this might sound foreign to a lot of you. It's okay. Let's go to the next master chart, D Mixolydian, and I'm gonna break this down over multiple lessons in smaller chunks, but I wanted to give you the big one right now. Okay. So here's your another major mode, D Mixolydian. So what would that be? D major bar chord. So let's just move through this because I know you guys are getting it. Chunk it. EAD strings only. Look. I know I did a lesson a while back where it was just the EAD strings. That's it. That's all we focused on. I'm giving you the whole thing though now. Now we're just doing little mini musical exercises because we're not even doing like a chord progression yet, but I need you guys to split it, chunk it, break it down, burn it in your brain. All right, let's go to the next part of this. So here we go. See this right here? So E. Excuse me, got the wrong shank, but it's okay. Make music. And listen, I need practice at this too. Even for me, this was making these charts for you guys, and hopefully I didn't go too cross-eyed and I got them right. So call me out if I did and I'll fix them. They'll be linked in my Dropbox. Grab it below. But again, so you know what this does too? Is it forces you to create music you would normally create. Okay, let's go to the last one. This is E Aeolian. Here's the master chart for that. So we've got E, F sharp, G. Look, run the whole thing. But again, the point of this is to chunk it. So let's do that. Let's get rid of this whole master chart. So again, same thing. So look. See how those are all the notes out of G major, just in a rearranged order. All right, so let's go to the second half of this. Finish it right up. Now, let me point something out on this. I have to tell you this. So I need you to see, so you see that F sharp on the G, right? Let's just look at that G. If you could just go like this, what did you essentially do? Inside of that E Aeolian scale, which is the second half of it, you just ran a G major scale. Look, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And what a great way to end that, all right? So listen, I've said enough. So here's what you can do. Okay, grab the ebook, start splitting stuff, start chunking it, break it down, don't feel overwhelmed. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, this guy just gave way too much, way too fast, I'm always gonna say this, just take the G major scale. Go back to that one and just take like the first chunk one, okay? So just the EAD strings, just this. And no matter what, you're getting some great practice because this is a G major scale. It's just the EAD strings of the whole master scale I gave you in the chart, from low E to high E. So you could do something like this. Let's do this. Let's do a chord progression. Let's do G. Got to do the 1. Then let's do minor 3, B minor. And then why don't we do C, and then back to G. And then we'll run a little riff or a little melodic passage out of that little chunk or that split. Okay, so watch this. That wasn't nothing fancy. But are we making music? Yes, without a doubt. Or I could do one more thing, okay? There's no charts on here right now. This is just showing you the ideas. You have the ebook below. Let's do the same chord progression, but now let's do something of a little piece of a minor mode. So I'll do, let's do B Phrygian. So. See that? So that's all it is. That's why I'm trying to give this to you guys. So again, don't overwhelm yourself. Be easier on yourself. Just, grab the ebook. Just take one scale. If you can learn them all, great. The end goal is, yes, to know them all, low E to high E, all right? But again, You got to start splitting stuff. You got to chunk it and then connect the dots. Okay, light bulb moments, aha moments. Like I have them. That's what's cool about guitar. It's just never ending. All right, so drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of this. Hit that like button if you're new. Would love to keep ya. Again, this is a journey, a lifelong journey. There is no knowing it all, and that's what makes this cool. So drop Jellyfish or your favorite sea creature in the comments. Definitely tell us where you're watching from. And you know what? I'd love to know too. Tell us, like, what are you struggling most with on the guitar? What kind of videos do you want me to make? Was this too much? How was it too much? The more information you can give me and interact. If you've never dropped a comment, drop one now. I'm not stopping this stuff. I'm here to help you. At the end of the day, though, I make music, and that's what you gotta. That's our end game, which is not an end game. Let's just make music, make music, make music. Okay, be as musical as you can. I'll see you in the next video. I gotta shut it now. Peace.